Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the co-founder and CEO of KaBOOM, Darell Hammond.
I'm humbled to stand here with so many other champions of service and have an opportunity to tell you why I do what I do. Many people know that KaBOOM is a nonprofit organization who envisions a great place to play within walking distance of every child. But my story goes somewhat like when I was 2 years old, my father, who was a cross-country truck driver, left the house one day after the birth of my younger sister to unload a truck and never came back. My mother, the mother of 8 children, did as much as she could for 2 years before having a nervous breakdown and not being able to care for us. We went on to be raised at a group home for 14 years. So I do what I do because so many people for 14 years cared for me when I couldn't care for myself. I go on to talk about when I was 24 years old, living in Washington, D.C., I was reading the front page of the Washington Post, ironically about 2 young kids who were 2 and 4, Aisha and Clarendon, who on a hot summer day crawled into an abandoned car, suffocated and died. A Washington Post reporter went down to Anacostia to take a look at the circumstance and situation, and she kept walking block by block. And the first time that she could find a park, a playground, a grassy area, a swimming pool, a basketball court, was within 3 miles of where these kids were living. I thought back to my personal experience at 2 and 4 years old, where other people lifted me up. And I felt compelled to go down there and act to try to build our first park for those kids. I'm very pleased that next week on June 15th in Washington, D.C., KaBOOM will build our 2,000th playground with our 1 millionth volunteer. I also want to tell you, after Hurricane Katrina, I came down within the first 30 days. Within the first 100, we built a park with Hands-On Network and the Points of Light Institute in Bay St. Louis. Many people actually criticized us because what they told us back then was that kids were resilient. They would get along. And a note that I received from Jenny Reynolds in our office said that she remembered Hurricane Camille coming through Bay St. Louis, destroying their playground, and it never got rebuilt. So for an organization with the memory of Aisha and Clarendon from Washington, D.C., to all the kids in the Gulf Coast, we didn't want a future memory of somebody saying that nobody stepped forward to rebuild something so simple but symbolic as a playground. I'm pleased that with the conference participants yesterday, here in New Orleans, we built our 150th playground in the Gulf Coast, including 78 right here in New Orleans alone. I can't thank the Points of Light Institute, AmeriCorps in particular, NCCC, for those earliest days when after one conversation with Michelle Nunn, I asked her how she was paying for the operation that she had established down here. And she said she didn't know where the money would come, and she actually didn't even know if the money was come, but it was the right thing to do. And that type of courageous leadership in the last 5.5 years has really led to what we've been hearing about, this transformation of the Gulf Coast. It's all about empowerment and communities coming together. That's how KaBOOM builds our playgrounds. And one of the communities that we were able to work in is New Orleans East. And the young people there, and you'll see in this video about their struggle, how they overcame their struggle through the village of Versailles. Thank you.